What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Whole Views, and today we get to talk about Bel-Air. Season 1 has wrapped, and now it's time to discuss it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. Most of the views come from the unsubscribed, and I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button, hit the alerts, come back and check out more videos talking about TV shows, movies, trailer reactions, Fire on Fridays, just many things that we like to do here on the channel. So let's go ahead and get into the question for today's episode. And the focus here is, what is your favorite episode from season 1 of Bel-Air? The focus of my video will be answering that very question. My favorite episode is episode 6. For me, it was the best episode of the season because it was the first time that almost every family character from the Banks household is writing or representing or standing up for, taking up for, or connecting with one another. There were not many negative interactions between all the family members. To me, it really galvanized all the different relationship dynamics that you have in that household as a family. Let's go ahead and list those events and then break each one down in a little bit more detail. Uncle Phil and Will share a moment to start off. And yes, Uncle Phil and Will continue to have other moments throughout the show in episodes 7, 8, 9, 10. But this episode kind of solidified the fact that they are really, really close, and that Will is really being embraced by Uncle Phil as like a member of the family. He's gonna have some responsibilities put on him. It was really cool to see. And although Uncle Phil has his relationship moments with Aunt Viv and his relationship moments with Carlton, specifically I believe in the finale, there's a little moment between them where it seems real nice. No other relationship is more important to the Uncle Phil character than the Will relationship, because again, Will is our central character here, so that relationship got to be the most important, and it was really solidified to me in episode 6. Then you have Hillary coming through and helping out her mom, agreeing to help her mom throw this party. Still focusing on the Hillary character, you have Hillary being a big sister to Ashley and her relationship, little teenage, preteen drama stuff. Like, to me, it solidified the fact and like really proved to the audience, like, hey, this Hillary is not the old Hillary. She's not just an airhead. She is resourceful, she's helpful, she is independent to a certain extent, and she is nurturing when she needs to be. She is very much a knowing, caring, present big sister, which is something that the Hillary in the older show just never really displayed as much as we see here. And I like that change. It's a change that makes the character way stronger, way more interesting this time around. I liked what she did here in this episode. Not that it was mind-blowing, but it was her on display, being there for her family, her mother and her sister. Now, the Ashley moment was kind of controversial. Some people don't like the fact that she appears to be developing into an LGBT character. I don't really care that much. I do feel like as far as updating the show, this is a little bit more normal for what we see young people dealing with. It's way more common for them to deal with that nowadays than it was in the 90s, or at least be open about it. So there's that. And then there's also the fact that several different times when she talked about it, she said like she don't really know what she is, right? So I feel like her character was very vulnerable on the show in this episode, as well as I think that she's very moldable. And I think that if relationships are positive, that she continues to like try out, she's gonna be molded into something different and grow into something different than what we saw in the old show, as well as just be a different character. Like, she's moldable still. She's able to morph into almost anything. She can be a straight character if that means something in that writer's room, or she can continue to represent the LGBTQ interest on the show if that's where the writers want to go with it. She's I think the word is pliable. She can go anywhere in any direction. So I like that. I like that she's kind of a wild card. At the same time, the actress, she played it very well. Room to grow for the Ashley character, and I like that. Then once the party actually happens and things start going on, you have the big moment of Aunt Viv riding and representing for Lisa's mom who passed away and standing up for Lisa, which was huge. Aunt Viv never really came across as having a lot of bite to her character. I've seen other people talk about it on their different YouTube shows and you know, breaking things down. I've seen people say like she doesn't have the same bite that the original Aunt Viv have. Like when she breaks people down with her words, she's not quite degrading as a real life black mom or as either of the Aunt Viv characters on the old show. But here in episode 6, when she came for the new wife, whew, it was good. It was very good because she stood up for a character that she cared a lot for, as well as represented for a character that like passed away, Lisa's mom, as well as put this woman in her place as she should have been. I liked that scene. It was her coming across as a mother hen, as a mama bear, and really showing her teeth. And I enjoyed how the scene played out. I'm glad that she got loud. I'm glad that she made a scene. It was well done. You have Carlton, who experiences a breakdown, and you have a very tender, very much needed moment between the Will character and the Carlton character. Big moment there. So in those moments of Carlton breaking down, we get to see Will finally learn how bad the anxiety is. We get to see the reason behind the drugs and the freakouts and the breakdowns that Carlton is having. And the embrace that Will and Carlton had sitting there on the floor was the biggest step forward for that relationship. The Will and Carlton relationship is super important for the dynamic of the show, to have all the characters kind of get along and move together well. You need those two to mesh like brothers. This was the first step in that. Throughout watching the other episodes, I continue to think like, man, are they gonna continue to make Carlton such a drag of a character? Just such a, disgusting character. But this was the moment where Will saw him as a true wounded, damaged person that could use a brother, a person to be there, a shoulder to lean on, like, hey, somebody, hey, I can help make you more likable. I can be a help to you. We see that for the first time. And even though the relationship that exists between them is still rocky in episodes 7 and 8, by the time you get to 9, 10, the relationship between Will and Carlton is way, way better off. And I think with the end of the season, it really ended in a very good place, with Carlton really caring about Will and going out there and looking for him. All that stuff was great, but those seeds was planted for a good finale in episode 6. So that's why I'm sticking with episode 6. Great moment for those two characters. I also love Uncle Phil swooping in to quote unquote save Aunt Viv from the Michael Ealy character. Again, I have nothing against Michael Ealy or anything like that, but he often plays characters that are easy to hate. And I must say, I hate his character here. Not him, but the character that he plays seems super slimy with ulterior motives, and I'm very untrusting of him. I want Uncle Phil to punch him in the face. But as far as Uncle Phil showing up to kind of rescue Aunt Viv and like, hey, I'm aware of this, I like it. I really like it, because I feel like had Aunt Viv folded for this Michael Ealy character, it would have left a bad taste in my mouth. I hope the writers' room don't push the show in that direction in season 2. And the Jeffrey part. The Jeffrey part was big for me because we knew that Jeffrey was a fixer, because we saw the way he kind of like delivered the news to Will about the old threat in Philadelphia, like, he's dead. And it's like, oh, well, Jeffrey, you kind of talking like you might have had a hand in this. But after seeing episode 6, we see very clearly like Jeffrey's on top of everything in the house. And it was impressive, and it made his character seem intimidating, and it gave just a level of respect and cachet that the old Jeffrey never did have. And we know that the old Jeffrey in the old show was just way more comedic, and Jeffrey in the old show had the clapbacks, and he had the comebacks, and he was breaking people down real subtly throughout the old show. But here, he's very subtle as well. It's like, hey, I know everything that's going on. Hey, I have my finger in everything. I know everything, every move that everybody's making. And I like to see it. I like that he said, hey, I'm on top of that already. And then when they told him about the Michael Ealy guy, and he was like, I'm already on top of that too, boss. Like, I got it. I like that coming across from Jeffrey. And it made his character super likable, for me at least. Now, taking a step back and talking about the season as a whole, I must say that Jeffrey and the way he ended, like separate from the family, I didn't like that. But judging based on the response of Aunt Viv and the kids, there's a very, very easy way for the family to basically come in and override or veto Uncle Phil's decision and say, hey, we need Jeffrey back. We really can't function without him. Make it happen. And it happens. And then in season 2, we could possibly see a mending of the relationship between Uncle Phil and Jeffrey, like that trust being restored. That would be a dope way to go, and a nice little side story as we learn more about Will and his decision to either stay or go or whatever we do with the show in season 2. Overall, I must say it was a great show. It was a very solid season. My only criticism of the show is that from time to time, I feel like it can be a little bit overly dramatic, but it is a dramatic retelling. So drama is to be expected. I just feel like some things are a little bit, overplayed, oversold. And I would also say, as a very mild criticism, I would say not every scene lands. But hey, nothing is perfect, but this is damn close. This is a very good show. I can't sit up here and say that, it doesn't deserve a second run or nobody deserves their flowers for what they did in season 1. Most people hearing about a Fresh Prince reboot or remake, dramatic retelling, did not want to see it. I was one of the people that kind of was like intrigued, but never necessarily like over the moon about the idea of reviving the Fresh Prince in a dramatic way. But after watching the first episode, I knew that this was going to be impressive, and watching the entire season run really did a lot for me as far as giving credence and license to people to come back and touch these old properties. So final thoughts, very good show, very, very good show. Can't wait for season 2. Hope that they have a nice little run as long as they can continue to tell stories about Will and keep that character growing and moving forward. And again, hats off to everybody involved, because I don't feel like there's a weak actor or a weak actress involved. Marlon Wayans knocked his finale cameo out the park. Just so much about the show was well done, and I'm very impressed. Again, there's people who's probably gonna nitpick, but I'm not one of them. It's a very solid show. Definitely recommend to watch. For adults only though, it's not very family friendly. That's my another little small criticism, but we knew that after episode 1. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Hope that you enjoyed the video if you watched thus far, and please don't forget to drop what is your favorite episode from season 1 in the comment section. That's all I have. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.